Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word, two-edged sword. MC Heaven rocks for her Lord. Thought they crept in unaware, didn't see the gatekeeper standing right there, not getting down with your tactics, undoctrinal practice.
Hi, everybody. Welcome again to the Crystal Jones Show. It's a show that's all about life's balance. And I'm your talk show host, Crystal Jones. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shalom and blessings from God our Father and the Most High, and our Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, who we call Jesus Christ. Let me give you my contact information. You can reach me at the Crystal Jones Show. First of all, let me at Instagram. You can reach me at Instagram, the Crystal Jones Show. You can also write to me at the Crystal Jones Show at gmail.com. Also, you can see me now on my new platform, Hebrew Connect TV. You can go and look at episodes there. Okay. Also, you can check out my videos on YouTube and Facebook, the Crystal Jones TV Show. Remember on YouTube to subscribe to my channel, like the videos, and share on the YouTube videos as well. All right. You know that I have a new day and time for my show, which airs weekly on Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can watch me at bronxnet.tv on Watch Now. Also, the channel is 951-2137 on Optimum and Fios. All right, so you can see me weekly, but if you miss it, you could always go to YouTube, because as soon as I finish doing a video, it's uploaded right to YouTube and my Facebook channel. All right, Facebook, yes, you can definitely go to Facebook and see the upload. All right, and you'll see it before everybody else, before it comes on television. So that's a special plus for you. But thank you all for being great guests. Now, we're going to go right to in the news today. All right. We see so many things in the news that's going on. The pandemic, the racial riots and the violence and things like that are just going on. We read about it all the time. The Karens, the Kens showing off, acting up, carrying on. Just so much going on, confusion, turmoil like has never been before, people dying. Just everything is just, seems like the world is just in total chaos. But I'm sure a lot of people really didn't know that all of this is biblical. All right, so I want to share with you in the book of Baruch, the second book of Baruch, the book of the apocalypse of Baruch, the son of Neriah. Okay, so now it talks about the sign of the coming judgment. All right, so you have in here a prophet that's telling about what is to come. And he's talking in this one, in the 27th verse, about the 12 woes that are to come upon the earth, the Messiah and the temporary messianic kingdom. All right. So it says, and he answered and said unto me, into 12 parts is that time divided, and each one of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it. The first part, there shall be beginning of commotions. We see this. There's so much commotions because everybody's marching for their rights or fighting for their rights, because we see that the world is in total chaos. So people are angry because, a lot of, people are realizing we've been duped in so many different things. And so people want their rights and things like that, right? So you got total chaos and commotion, going on. You have the gang violence, you have the robberies and all that kind of stuff, right? So the first part, there shall be the beginning of commotions, and then the second part, there shall be slayings of the great ones, You see what happened in Haiti and, different places. You're seeing these things are going on, but this is biblical. God is warning us. These are the last days, right? Okay. And in the third part, the fall of many by death. You see that going on, been going on now for 2 years now, right? There are people that are just dying off, right? The third part, the fall of many by death. And then the fourth part, the sending of the sword. And then the fifth part, famine and the withholding of rain. So we see here, there's droughts all happening all over the place. Different places you've seen the droughts, the water droughts and things. They're telling us to stock up, which I've been telling you all for a while. Stock up on your water, your food, and everything, right? Like that, right? And then the sixth part, earthquakes and terrors. Earthquakes have been amping up, all right? And then the eighth part, a multitude of specters and attacks of the Shadim, right? So, and then the ninth part, the fall of fire. Okay, the attacks of the Shadim are, of course, the different attacks that you see going on. People pushing people in the subways and stuff like that. That's due to people with bad spirits, right? People are not thinking about that. A lot of these people are under demonic attack themselves. All right. In the 10th part, oppression. The 11th part, wickedness and unchastity. And then the 12th part, confusion from the mingling together of all those things aforesaid. So there's going to continue to amp up to be total chaos. All right. Because remember, we're at the end of times now, whether we believe it or not. You could go to the book of Revelation and it'll explain to you exactly what's going on. All right. So we who know, we're preparing for the kingdom. The kingdom of God has already really intercepted this earth. It's coming, to prepare the way for Christ to return. Because when he comes back, he's going to bring his own judgment on those who are opposed to doing what's righteous, what's right. So you see, in our prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. The kingdom of God is already upon us, and it's approaching us, and it's getting rid of a lot of crazy stuff. So in the mix, there's going to be great turmoil and stuff like that. This is the time for people to make sure that your life is right with the Lord. Because if you happen to get in the mix of it and you're no longer here, in the hereafter, what's going to happen to you? If you have no relationship with the Lord, don't think that you're going to, float to heaven or something like that. No, you're going to face judgment. And it's either going to be eternal damnation or it's going to be eternity with the Lord, because Christ is coming to set up his kingdom here on the earth. So warning and foretelling you, get right, get ready, because it's going to get rough. All right. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the video that we were viewing last week, the Black-owned vineyards and wineries. That's another area where Blacks may want, a lot of Black people are getting into. That's something that we need to consider. As I told you, we are Hebrew people, and there are 12 tribes. And we all look different now. The Hispanic people, the Black, the Black Americans, the Haitians, the Dominicans, the Filipinos, all of those different 12 tribes. We're all one. We're from the 12 tribes of Israel. So we used to own vineyards and stuff like that when we were in our land. So now the Black-owned vineyards and wineries. Let's take a look at that video.
Number 13, J. Moss Winery, Napa Valley, California. Known for their Cabernet Sauvignon, J. Moss Winery is a Black-owned winery located in Napa Valley that was founded by James Moss, who made his first vintage in 2001 when he worked as a wholesaler in the wine industry. trips to Napa Valley made him fall for wine country. So he and his wife, Janet, who has a winemaking degree, made the move from Texas to Napa. Since then, J. Moss has evolved into a cult favorite wine. Located in the southern part of Napa in the Crusher Wine District, tastings are usually done on the property when reservations are made in advance. Number 14, Longevity Wines, Livermore Valley, California. A lover of big, bold wines, Phil Long made his entry into the business by making wine in his garage with the help of his wife, Deborah. In 2006, he began producing wine under his Longevity label in California's Livermore Valley at various facilities. Today, the winemaker has his own Livermore property, launched in 2008, where he produces high-quality Pinot Blanc, Muscat, Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, Barbera, and more annually. Although Longevity is currently only on shelves of wine shops in states, including California, Texas, Colorado, Georgia, Missouri, and South Dakota, Long's recent partnership, Bronco Wine Company, for the national launch of his wines will soon bring Longevity to several more retail locations in various states in the future. Number 15. LVE Wines, Napa Valley, California. Chances are you probably can't sing like John Legend, and you likely can't play the piano, write songs, or perform all around the world like him either. But there is something you can do like the award-winning musician. You can drink like him. Apparently, 2019's Sexiest Man Alive has an affinity for rosé, and he's sharing it with fans and wine lovers alike through his very own brand, LVE. Number 16, Markel Bonnie Wines, Cincinnati, Ohio. The brainchild of lifelong friends and Cincinnati natives Gregory Markel Lawrence and Sean Bonnie Yisrael, Markel Bonnie was created in response to the wine industry's lacking representation of Black Americans. Founded in 2008, the winery produces a sweet white blend, sweet red blend. Number 17, McBride Sisters, Oakland, California. Robin and Andrea McBride have turned the wine industry on its head with their highly regarded Black Girl Magic collection, which serves as the sisters' ode to the inspiring Black women of the past and present. And She Can Rosé is quite literally female empowerment in a can. The two sisters were both raised around vineyards and unaware of the other for nearly half their lives. In 1999, fate finally brought them together, and they created McBride Sisters, producing two brands, Trouvé and Echo Love. Number 18, Okapi Wines, Napa, California. Dan Johnson was a lawyer with winemaking dreams before he decided to trade in the courthouse for the vineyard by establishing his own small winery, Okapi, in Napa in 2006. Although his business is relatively small, Okapi produces about 300 cases a year. What the winery lacks in quantity is made up in quality with unique blends, red and white wines that zing with innovation and creativity. Number 19, P. Harrell Wines, Sonoma County, California. Paula J. Harrell's long-standing appreciation for wine led her to develop a winery of her own in Sonoma, California. Although the winery only produces 3 varietals, it's worth noting that her limited production has worked in her favor. The company's Rosé and Zinfandel are both incredible standouts, but Harrell's signature Riesling is an award-winning fan favorite. Bursting with notes of citrus and minerality, Harrell's 2019 Dry Creek Valley Riesling took home a gold award at the San Francisco Chronicle International Wine Competition last year. Number 20, Stuyvesant Champagne, New York City, New York. There was a time when Marvina Robinson and her friends had to combine their money just to purchase a bottle of Moet and Chandon White Star sparkling wine. And now, after spending the first half of her career in finance, Robinson makes her own cuvée named after her Bedford-Stuyvesant hometown in New York. The sparkling wine enthusiast was unsatisfied with the different brands on the market, so she traveled to France to concoct her own. Robinson came back to New York with several different cuvées, a French term for batches of wine, and 2 variations came out as winners, a salmon-colored Brut Rosé and a golden-colored Grand Reserve. Number 21, Theopolis Vineyards, Mendocino County, California. Founded by lawyer-turned-winemaker Theodora R. Lee in 2003, the vast Theopolis Vineyards, located in California's Anderson Valley, produces a number of award-winning Petite Syrahs and Pinot Noir. Theodora Lee is known in the wine world as Theopatra, Queen of the Vineyards, for her love of grape farming and living that wine lifestyle. Her business, Theopolis Vineyards, is a vineyard and winery situated in California's upscale Yorkville Highlands of the Anderson Valley. Lee's business started as a hobby, but in 2003, she decided to grow a vineyard and began selling her wine to local winemakers. Number 22, Zaffa Wines, Burlington, Vermont. Krista Scruggs' Burlington, Vermont vineyard is as natural as it gets. The burgeoning winemaker's first vintage of natural wine came in 2017, but it was an instant standout for enophiles. Her methods are simple. No fining, filtering, additives, or funny business. Just pure fermented grape juice and apple juice too for the cider lovers. Number 23, Maison Noir, Mac, Oregon. Earning the title as the first African-American to win America's Best Young Sommelier was the push Andre Houston Mack needed to create Maison Noir, a twofold lifestyle project that aims to pair Black culture and wine, his two biggest passions. What separates his wines from the rest are his catchy hip-hop themed wine names, but more importantly, Maison Noir's grapes are grown in a special cross-section of vineyards throughout Oregon's Willamette Valley. Number 24, Taste Collection Cellars, Houston, Texas, and Lodi, California. Taste Collection Cellars is owned and operated by Chef Rhonda Russell, who is an executive chef of wine arts and winemaker. As the only African-American female to carry this title in the U.S., she has advanced knowledge of both food and wine. Chef Rhonda enjoys finding ways to bring out the superb taste in a wide array of food through colorful food combinations and inspired wine pairings. Her keen sense of taste brought her to become a winemaker and create her own wine collection, Taste Collection Cellars. Born and raised in the deep food culture of Louisiana, Chef Rhonda Russell's passion now is to educate and demystify both wine and the food that first sparked her imagination, Creole and Cajun cooking. Number 25, Davidson Wine, Davidson, North Carolina. Davidson Wine Company is owned and operated by Lindsay Williams, a lawyer turned winemaker who resides in Davidson. Born and raised in Ohio, she discovered a deep appreciation of wine later in life and started her wine company out of the desire to bring affordable and locally made wine options to the town right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. While the initial plan was to buy a farm, open a vineyard, and grow the grapes herself, Lindsay found that there was a better way to do things for now. She decided to introduce the Charlotte area to its first urban winery. Williams works closely with an affiliate partner who helps her to choose the best grapes around the world, including California, Chile, Italy, and France. But Lindsay has full control when it comes to putting together the flavor palettes for her private label under the same name as the winery.
All right. So we see these wineries that are really, really, really awesome. Okay. And I use wine in a lot of my recipes. So that's something that we need to get into. I noticed even in the book of Revelation, when things started getting bad on the earth, that the angel told the other angel, don't touch the wine or the oil, the wine or the olive oil. So that's something we might need to think about. That might be what we have kind of left after a lot of things go down here on the earth. So think about that. The next thing, let's get into the veggies and herbs that you can learn to regrow. Let's watch that video.
Do you throw your garlic bulbs out once they start to sprout? What about your potatoes when they get a little wrinkly? How about your ginger root that sits out on the counter too long? Well, you could be getting a lot more value out of your produce than you may realize. Many popular edibles can be regrown from the scraps you're likely throwing out. Keep watching for a list of veggie scraps you will want to hang on to from here on out. 1. Basil. Basil is a breeze to propagate. Simply take some healthy, fresh, 4-inch cuttings from a young basil plant. Leave just 2 sets of leaves at the top of each cutting and remove the remaining leaves. Then, submerge the cuttings in a few inches of clean water. It may take between 1 to 2 weeks for roots to form, after which, plant it in a small pot for the windowsill or out in your garden. 2. Mint. Another herb worth growing from cuttings is mint. Much like basil, you'll want cuttings about 4 to 5 inches in length. Remove lower leaves and place the cuttings in clean water. Once roots develop, transfer to a container filled with potting soil. 3. Green onions and scallions. Do you love to toss some green onions on just about everything? Buy them once and then grow them from the scraps on a windowsill. Place the root leftovers from the green onions in a couple of inches of water. And in just a few days, you'll notice the roots form, but also the leaves will start to grow. Continue to harvest while in water or plant in a container of potting soil. 4. Ginger root. Have you ever bought ginger root and noticed little buds forming? Plant it! You'll have fresh ginger to harvest soon enough. Soak the roots overnight to encourage growth, and then you can transfer it to a container filled with potting soil. Ginger doesn't like standing water, so make sure your container has drainage holes. 5. Garlic. If your garlic cloves start to sprout, plant them. Garlic is one of the easiest plants to grow over and over again. 1 clove planted in the garden in either early fall or late winter, depending on your area, can multiply into a bulb of multiple cloves. 6. Celery. Celery follows the same protocol as many others. Once you use the celery stalks, save the end that's left over. Place it root side down in clean water for around a week. Then transfer the celery to rich, well-draining soil and watch it really start to take off. 7. Lettuce. Buy a fresh head of lettuce, make a salad, and plop the base of the leaves you're left with in a couple of inches of water. Within a week, it will begin to regrow. And 8. Sweet potatoes. If you love sweet potatoes, consider growing them yourself. Submerging more than half of a sweet potato in a glass of water and sitting it on a sunny windowsill. Wait for sprouts to form and reach 4 inches or so. Once roots form and grow a little, plant it out in the garden.
So you see that you can regrow these things. I like these little hacks and things like that. I'm gonna use some of those hacks myself. But these are very easy things to grow, and regrow. So, because we don't know, how things are going to be going, and we need to start being able to grow our own foods. So pay attention to that. And, you could probably find that video on YouTube, and, regrow your vegetables. All right. So now the next thing that we're going to look at is the land. We've been talking about how we need to, get our own land. This is a video about 19 Black families that purchased 96 acres. All right. So let's check that video out.
We are the buying power. If we can just teach each other to circulate our dollars within the community, we will solve our own problems. We are literally the answer to our own problems, but we have to change our thinking and come together. My name is Renee Walters, and I am the president of the Freedom Georgia Initiative. I have a Black husband. I have a Black son. Every time he would leave out for work or just to go to the store or anything, I would have a sense of anxiety just from watching everything that we've been going through lately with the pandemic and watching our Black men being murdered on national television in front of everybody. It kind of just all shook us by storm. It's now time for us to get our friends and family together and build for ourselves. That's the only way we'll be safe. That's the only way that this will work. We have to start bringing each other together. Well, we are looking to get amenities on the land. We want to have a place where you can have weddings, a nice retreat. We'll have tiny homes. We really just want you to come and hang out and feel safe. You don't have to worry about the Karens of the world and anything like that. You just come and have fun. We'll have a sportsman area with fishing, hunting, shooting range, ATV trails. We really just want to build a tight-knit community for our people to just come and breathe together. I know they have a bad stigma that, oh, Black people can't come together, but just like how Black Wall Street, their dollars circulated around 11 times before it left the community. And that's just something we want to bring back. We want to encourage businesses to come, and we want to circulate our dollar within the community before it leaves out to someone else. We want to make everybody in our areas wealthy. Well, every time we go to the land and in the actual cities, like we haven't received any backlash. Everyone is really nice and welcoming. It's the internet trolls, the negativity in the world, like, oh, you guys are gonna fail. Isn't this segregation? This is not what Martin Luther King stood for. And it's not us segregating ourselves. It's just we're building where we can come and be safe. Like, Chinatown has these areas. You go up and down Buford Highway, you can't even read some of the signs because it's not in our language, and nobody has a problem. And why is it that when we want to build, we're considered racist or we're segregating ourselves? Why can't we have our own safe haven? Every community has them. Everyone is welcome in freedom, but it is basically based on seeing Black people flourish, and that's all we want. Because every time we try to, somebody tried to burn it down, or we got some type of backlash, and I'm just tired of that. It's time for us to build our own.
All right. So this is what we need to do, right? Is purchase land. And like I said, we need to come together in our communities. Like I said, we're waking up to who we are. We're the 12 tribes. We're one. We need to come together. The Blacks, the Dominicans, the Indians, the Filipinos, the Hawaiians. Like I said, we got scattered to the four corners of the earth, but we're one people. We may have ended up in different areas, but we all started out in Jerusalem. Believe it or not, we did. We're the bloodline Jews. So we need to get together while we're here and form our own communities. All other nations do it. Of course, they're going to talk about us when we do it, because why? We were the ones they wanted to keep in poverty. We're the ones that they wanted to keep poor. They wanted us to be slaves, but we weren't slaves when we were in our own land, but our disobedience got us to having to suffer under that for some time. All right. So now the next thing that we're going to cover is the the missing youth. We have 2 missing youth today. The first one that we have is Miss Kyla Cox. If you can put her picture up. Okay, Kyla's been missing since July the 3rd of this year, 21. All right. She's missing from Brooklyn, New York. She's 13 years old, female. She's a black female. She has, the color of her hair is black. Her eye color is brown. She's 5'3" and about 106 pounds. So if you know anything about Kyla missing, or Kayla, I'm sorry, if you know anything about her missing, please report it to Missing and Exploited Children and or the police department. Like I said, she's missing from Brooklyn. So you want to get that information to them so that we can get this young lady back to her home. All right. The next person that we have that's on the missing list is, I believe, Shania Collins, right? Okay, we have Shania. She's been missing since May 1st of this year, 21, from the Bronx, New York, right here in our borough. All right. She's 17 years old. She's a black female. She has brown hair, brown eye color, and her height is 5'5", and she's 175 pounds. Please, if you see her, report it again to Missing and Exploited Children and to the local police department. Get her back with her family. All right. So much going on with our youth, but we want to see them return back home to their family. All right. So now on a positive note, today we have spotlight on our Hebrew/Black entrepreneurs. Ryan Williams, who's 33 years old. He's the co-founder of Cadre. It's a financial business. So let's see what he's up to.
Hello, Mike Butcher with TechCrunch, and I'm here with Ryan Williams, one of the co-founders of Cadre, which is a startup which is trying to disrupt the real estate market for technology. Now, Ryan, you guys have raised a heck of a lot of money, haven't you?
Yes,
from Thrive Capital, General Catalyst, Coastal Ventures. The last round was quite big as well, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, first, thank you for having me. The last round was a $50 million round. We have great backers, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So obviously you've raised this big chunk of money to go after a very, very big market.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What's the scale of the problem you're dealing with?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think you take a step back and the financial services industry accounts for more than 25% of the global economy. Within that, one of the largest verticals is real estate. And we think we're pretty uniquely positioned to disrupt the fundamental way buyers and sellers connect. We think we've architected a team, both from a product engineering standpoint, but also from a financial services standpoint, that lets us actually realize the mission and the vision of our company.
So you're really going after a market at the moment is using fairly old-fashioned software to do investing in real estate.
Yes.
What sort of things are they using right now?
Yeah, I mean, look, my background is really both technology and financial services. I spent a lot of time at a large institutional investment shop where we used Excel, we used relationships, right? And when there are those relationships, there's asymmetry in access. And we think leveraging technology to power a more efficient way for people to buy and sell, but also data and information to kind of level the playing field is our opportunity. And we think we're going to execute on it.
So you're starting in New York. How are you geographical in New York?
So we're now, yeah, sure. So we're now a national platform. So we began hyper-focused in the New York metro area. We've expanded now to the West Coast, and we think we have a global opportunity. And so the opportunity and the goal for us is to continue to drive innovation and creativity within our company. I
mean, what do you think is going to move the needle in this space particularly? Is it the platform, the kind of people you're hiring?
Yeah. I think that the biggest differentiator is human capital in our business, right? And that, in many ways, is why there's been this antiquated, way of investing and why certain players have dominated the market. We think that we've uniquely equipped and assembled a team, both from an engineering and technology standpoint, but also from an investing standpoint, where I oftentimes say the two worlds have collided. In our model, they're collaborating, right? And I think that's the opportunity. So our head of product is formerly a senior designer at Square, Andrew Borowski. One of my lead product managers is formerly at Blackstone, and we're coming together to collaborate in a unique way. And I think that's the opportunity we have at hand.
A skeptic might say that the property world is so old-fashioned and so immured in its own history that a technology play has little chance of breaking through those sort of closed doors, that very sort of old environment. I mean, do you think you guys have got a chance?
I know we have a chance, and I know we're going to disrupt the way buyers and sellers connect. And the exciting part to me is, look, it's not just real estate, right? There are other alternatives that have the same issue with lack of access, lack of efficiency, and we think, again, we're uniquely positioned to realize the opportunity, and it's evident in our backers, it's evident in the millions and millions of transactions that we've closed on our platform. And I think it's also evident in the fact that you're already seeing large institutions like Goldman Sachs, who's one of our investors, realize that Cadre is at the forefront of that next wave of innovation.
Is it in the interests of your backers, many of whom are actually also involved in the property industry, to work with you, because that moves the needle on their businesses away from that old-fashioned platforms that they use at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. Look, we're fortunate that SL Green, the largest office landlord in New York, is an investor with us and a meaningful investor. And there are others that are now slowly beginning to realize that we are the next generation of investing. And technology is powering this business model. Technology is the way and really the means with which we're going to evolve this antiquated world.
How competitive is the market, though, for what you're doing? Surely lots of other people are looking at this market and going, this is a big fat market. There will be plenty of other players involved. Surely you might be looking in your rearview mirror at that.
Yeah, look, we stay pretty focused ahead of us. We think that we have a lot of competitive advantages, one of which is the people that we brought together. Another is the backers. Another is the liquidity. We raised $250 million from a large family office to let us actually guarantee the funding of deals on our platform. And we have a lot of other product releases that we'll announce in the coming months that we think will also really crystallize the fact that Cadre is that transformational player within this new economy.
Let's talk a bit about your backers, because you do have some real sort of headline names there, like Coastal Ventures, etc., and Thrive. I mean, you haven't come out and named the family office that backs you yet, have you?
We have not, no.
Right, any particular reason?
It's a large $30 billion plus family office that we think is best kept confidential for now.
Are they players in the property world?
100%, yes. And they've recognized that Cadre is that next generation platform for buyers and sellers to connect, and they're getting ahead of the curve. So to their credit, they've recognized what we're building. So we also have a lot of other great backers, as you mentioned, Khosla founders, SL Green, General Catalyst, and folks who have historically stayed out of this market, but realize that in many ways we are the next wave of innovation.
What's the international scope for something like this? You've got a great national platform here in the US now. I mean, Asia is very, very big and hot for property at the moment.
Exactly. Well, look, we have.
How would you expand there?
Yeah, look, it is a global opportunity. Jack Ma is an investor in our business, and we will at some point expand internationally. We know that our business model is universal in its scope and its opportunity. We know there's tons of inefficiencies in both access, workflow, process, and information across the board, and we plan on methodically growing and expanding as the opportunity arises. And
I should think you might possibly think of coming to London, I dare say, at some point. Oh my goodness, it's impossible to buy anything in London anymore. You need to be a Russian oligarch, I think.
Yeah, we have quite a few investors from London that are pushing us in the same way. So we think that the right time there will be the opportunity to expand.
Well, Ryan Williams, it's been fascinating talking to you. We're going to be watching Cadre with interest at TechCrunch. Just like many of the companies here at TechCrunch Disrupt, really sort of going after big markets that are, old and lumbering, and especially it really speaks to what New York is great at, actually, is going after these traditional industries with disruptive software.
You're exactly right. I always say that New York is the hub for tons of antiquated industries, right? And technology is just beginning to transform a lot of these businesses. We think that we have a really great opportunity ahead of us.
Fantastic. Well, Ryan Williams from Cadre, thanks very much for talking to us, and we're going to throw now to John Biggs and Startup Alley.
All right, thank God for our young Black youth. I mean, I'm proud of all of y'all, because we've been on spotlight on our youth for the past couple of weeks now, and you all have been doing a great job. We are proud of you. We thank God for you all, because the stigma that Black people are these terrible people and all of that is a lie. It's a blatant lie. All right, this young man is in finance. He's 33 years old. All right. So this is what I want to bring to my platform, to let people know we came from greatness. All right. Our forefathers are Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham was rich. If you read your Bible, you will know Abraham was he was what? And his father was filthy rich. And Abraham was rich. Isaac, Jacob, King David, who is from our bloodline, the tribe of Judah, Solomon. We came from wealthy, rich Black people. All right. So we, as much as they want to put that stigma on us, it won't rest. It won't rest, because God has blessed us to be wealthy, rich people. First of all, spiritually and naturally. So we're going to move on to our next thing. The next thing we're going to go to is the health and wellness tip for today. Okay, reduce your sitting and screen times. When, during the day you're working at the desk and whatnot, get up and walk around the building where you work at, get a drink of water, take your bottle of water with you, walk around, say hi to your co-workers and all of that kind of stuff. And then also your screen times. Some people are at the screen all day long. So you need to take breaks from that. Maybe do the paperwork some instead of sitting in front of the screen all day. Do that stack of paperwork, whatever if you processing things or whatever, for like about an hour or so, just keep taking breaks in between, because it's not good for your eyes too to be on that monitor all day long. All right. So that's it for health and wellness. For the business tips, be aware of your competitors' moves. See, if you're in a certain industry or whatever, know what other people that are in that industry doing, so that you know what it is that people like. If there's a certain industry that people are flocking to, there's a reason. So find out what it is that they're doing, and that may give you a new idea to do something for your business, so that they'll flock to you as well. All right. So now we're going to go to today's lesson. And the lesson that we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks is the Feast of God's People. Now, we were commanded by the Lord to celebrate his feasts. All right. And what happened was, when we got over here, because they wanted to keep our mind enslaved, they created all of these other holidays and stuff, right? Which are supposed to be for us holy days. But their holidays don't coincide with God's laws. So the first feast I'm going to start with is the Feast of Passover. The Feast of Passover. All right. I'm going to read it to you first in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter and the 4th through the 8th verse. All right. He says, these are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. Now, what happened was that in order to, have us thinking that, once we were brought over here and enslaved and stuff like that, when you enslave people, you're going to separate them from everything that they knew, so that they can do what you want them to do. So when they got us over here and everything like that, they separated us from our God, basically. And they gave us their version of the Bible, so that they could, justify slavery. All right. And they told us all these lies about who we were and stuff like that. So they're made up holidays are holidays that celebrate idol gods. All right. And I've been telling you within the 10 Commandments, the first thing is, you shall have no other God before the Most High, the God of heaven and earth. All right. So these holidays are made to worship demigods, which are fallen angels. All right. Now, these are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, gatherings, festivities, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. All right. So now let's go back to what the Passover is about. The Passover is in the book of Exodus, the 11th through the 13th chapter. That's okay. So when you see 11 through 13, it's covered in those chapters. All right. The Lord said to Moses, yet will I bring one more plague upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Now, this was when we were in Egyptian bondage. Remember, we were in a lot of bondages because our people were disobedient to the laws of the Lord. They kept cleaving to the ways of the people around them, much like our people do here in this country. They're cleaving to these different ways. Now, Passover, let's go over that. This was when we came out of Egypt. The Lord was going to put one more plague on Pharaoh, because Pharaoh wouldn't let the Israelites, the Hebrews, go. Right? He said, afterwards, he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out altogether. So the Lord is saying, to Moses, speak now in the ears of the people and let every man bar, this is when we got the jewelry and the gold and stuff like that we carried with us in the wilderness to build the wilderness tabernacle. The Lord gave people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. They gave us gold and all of that. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, in the sight of the people. Because remember, when Moses was born, they were trying again to kill the black men. And that's a lot of what's going on now and what has been going on. That went on in Egypt, trying to kill the black children, the black men, right? Because if you cut off the man, you cut off the seed of the people. So when Moses was born, they were giving out the commandment to kill the black Hebrew boys. They said if the girls were born, you could let them live, but the boys, kill them. However, Moses' mother secretly had him, and she and her daughter pushed him down the river, and Pharaoh's daughter saw him and had compassion on him, and she raised him as her own child. That goes to show you that we were all black people, so that, we looked alike. So nobody really knew that Moses wasn't Egyptian. Just like the Apostle Paul, sometimes people would mistake him for being an Egyptian, but he said, no, he told them, no, I'm a Hebrew. All right. So now the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was great in the land of Egypt. Moses said, thus saith the Lord, about midnight, I will go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn of the land of Egypt will die. From the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth on his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of the beast. So the Lord wasn't playing. He was saying, listen, I done warned Pharaoh with all of these plagues and stuff like that I put on the land, the plague of locusts and all these kind of different plagues that the Lord had put on him, and he wouldn't listen. So the Lord said, this is it. This is the last plague. It's going to be the plague of death. I'm going to kill the firstborn of Pharaoh's household, and all of those that's down with him, they going down too. Their firstborn going to die too. And even all the firstborn of their cattle. That's how mad God was. All right. Because we are a chosen generation of royal priesthood, because we are the ones to bring the people to righteousness. We were chosen to judge the fallen angels, and also to bring the people from all nations to righteousness. Because remember, all nations started from us. This is why we have that dominant gene, that black gene that we have, that melanin and all of that, that goes along within that melanin. God made it for a special, because we're a special people to accomplish his works in the earth. We're supposed to bring the people to righteousness. All right. Now, he said, there shall be a great cry will go out all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it anymore. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. So that meant that this plague was only going to be on those Egyptians. It wasn't going to be on the Hebrew Israelites. Now, the Hebrew Israelites are black people, because Abraham is our forefather, who was a Chaldean, and Chaldeans are black people. God separated Abraham and made him the Hebrew. He said, I will form of you a nation of priests and kings. So that's where we're from. And those 12 tribes, we all have different, responsibilities within those tribes. So now, and all these thy servants shall come down unto me, and down themselves unto me, saying, get thee out, and all the people that follow thee. And after that, I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in great anger. Right. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. So he's warning him, Pharaoh's still not going to listen to you now that I'm bringing this last plague upon him, but still, you're going to go and do what I say. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land. Because why? Pharaoh thought he knew everything, right? So God said, okay, I'm going to fix you. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little, they share the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep, out from the goats. You shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper side posts of the door. So their instructions from the Lord was to put the blood on it, on the top of your doorway, and also on the sides. You were to smear the blood of the lamb over on your doorpost, right? On the upper doorpost of the house wherein they shall eat. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. All right. So he wanted it to be cooked, roasted with fire, it says. Don't let anything of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it burn with fire. You shall eat it with your loins girded, with your shoes on, ready to go, because we was about to go. We was getting out of there, because God was taking us to Israel, which was Canaan at that time. He was taking us to Israel. He was getting us out of bondage, taking us to Israel, like he's doing now. He's taking us out of here, and we're going back to our land eventually. But we are now going like the children of Israel were going then. We're going to go into a wilderness phase. All right. So it's the same thing, just as it was in the days of Noah. People going to be going on with life like nothing, getting married, doing everything. Not that these things are wrong, but it's going to be the same thing. It's going to play out just like it did, that the earth in the days of Noah was wicked like it is today. People killing and all kind of wicked things, calling right wrong and wrong right. That's what's going on now. And the Lord came, and the waters covered the earth, and only people that made it was on the ones that's on the ark. We are to get on the ark of safety, which is to have that relationship with the Lord. Even if you don't go to a church, you may say, oh, well, we don't go to church. You don't know. You need to get in your Bible, pray, read, and ask God for understanding, because they shutting everything down. Do you see what's going on now, right? There come a time where everything could be shut down again. And then what do you have? Your relationship with the Lord. Get in your Bible, get in the apocryphal books, and understand what's going on now, and share with your family and run for your life, because we are getting down to that. If you see what's going on around you, how much longer do you think things are going to continue to last? You've seen people every day going back to their homelands and stuff like that. There's a lot going on here, but for us, the Hebrew children, just like we are, just like in the days of Noah now, and we're just like it was when we left Egypt. All right. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. You shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt. All the gods, meaning the demigods, the fallen angels that they worship. These lands, these different lands that are into all of these different things, voodoo, all that kind of stuff, they are worshiping demigods, little g, fallen gods. Okay, God said he was going to bring his judgment against them, and he will execute judgment. He said, I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. He said, put that blood up on the top where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. Okay, so our blood today is the blood of Christ. Have you accepted Christ as your personal Savior? Have you received the baptism of water and spirit? Do you have the Holy Spirit dwelling in you? That blood that was shed for us on Calvary's cross, that Christ, when he died for us, he died for the atoning of our sins to bring us back in right relationship with the Lord. So today, that will be the blood that will keep us when the Lord goes to make all things new. We are the ones who we're going to be stamped under his protection. We're going to be sealed. We're being sealed. The book of Revelations talk about that the Lord sent out the angels, seal the people of God, seal. Do you have God's seal upon you? If you don't have his seal upon you, you better get it upon you, because things are about to amp up and ramp up. All right. So he says, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. Right. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and you shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Right. So he goes on to talk about this is a 7-day feast, and we shall, observe this particular feast, which is the feast of Passover. Okay, so he said, when I see the blood, I'll pass over you. So when the Lord sees the seal upon us, he'll pass over us. So now, I'm not saying that nobody of our people will die. Yes, there'll be people that will die. But if you die in the Lord, then that judgment is passed over you, as far as what's coming on this earth. Because people seem to think that they're not going to, there's going to be no judgment for the things that have gone on this earth, for them even holding us as slaves. They had no business doing that. It tells you in the book of Deuteronomy, I believe it's the 31st chapter. It talks about how God said, I was angry at you because you didn't obey me. And, he sent us into captivity. But he said, I never imagined for them to do what they did to you. So he said, their day is coming too. Okay, so it's going to roll. Things are going to reverse. So just like they did to us, it's going to be done to them. You reap whatever you sow. All right. So don't get so caught up in, what was done to us. We're going to get reparations and all of that. But truly, I believe we're going to get those reparations when we're on our way out, when it's time to leave, just before it's time to leave. We're going to get those reparations. If you notice, they talking about it in the UN, because they owe us, because we built everything, and their wealth is off of our blood, sweat, and tears. All right. So that's what the Feast of Passover is about. All right. So thank you all for tuning in again to the Crystal Jones Show. Today's lesson was the Feast of God's People. These are the feasts we're supposed to be celebrating. Easter is a feast unto the God of fertility. And that has no place in God's kingdom at all. There are no other gods beside God. All right. So take your mind off of these pagan holidays and pay attention to the feasts of the Lord. All right. So you could see my videos on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the videos and share the videos. Also, you can reach me at Instagram at The Crystal Jones Show. Write to me at thecrystaljoneshow@gmail.com. And you can see me at HebrewConnect.tv. And also the New Day in channel is Saturdays from 7 to 8 p.m. on BronxNet.tv. Also, you can find me on channel 951 and 2137 on your cable channels. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. And as always, I always tell you, stay balanced.
Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word, two-edged sword. MC Heaven rocks for her Lord. Thought they crept in unaware, didn't see the gatekeeper standing right there, not getting down.